I traveled a lot in 2024. Rwanda, Uganda, Mexico, Indonesia, 11 US states. I took 44 flights. It was a great year of travel, but even with all of this experience, I made a couple of really dumb mistakes. So in this video, I'm going to share the top 5 stupidest things I did traveling this year in the hopes that you learn from my experience, or are at least entertained. And be sure to stick around for number 1, because number 1 is probably the blondest moment I have ever had in my entire life. If you're new here, I'm Annie. I'm a frequent traveler and I run the travel account Average Girl Does Cool Things. And now, without further ado, let's get into this. Mistake number 5 was not having local currency on me when I landed in Indonesia. I flew to Indonesia, I started in Bali, and my flight landed at like midnight, so I decided to stay at the airport hotel, the Novotel. Okay, so in the morning, I had a private car transfer from the Novotel to my hotel in Uluwatu. I find my driver, meet my driver, very nice guy. He's like, I've never picked anyone up here before. He drives out, and there's like a gate to get out, like a toll gate kind of thing where you have to like pay the parking ticket to get out. He gets up there and he starts talking to the woman who he's supposed to pay, and they're like talking back and forth, back and forth. It's taking a little while. I don't know what he's saying. It starts to escalate. And I was like, okay, this isn't good. And I'm like in the back of the car with my phone, like texting my contact, being like, I don't know what's going on, but something's wrong. So he turns around at one point and he says to me, they want me to pay, but I didn't park. He said, I don't know what they want. He said, it's 60,000 rupees, which is a lot of money. And I'm sitting in the back and I'm like, I'm so jet lagged. I have no idea what's going on. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a lot. Like, I don't know how much a rupee is at this point. So then the manager comes over and he starts arguing with the manager and the woman in the booth. And like the three of them are all talking and my driver is very heated. And I'm like, well, like 60,000 rupees, like how much is that? I do the currency conversion. It was $3. $3 US. We are standing there arguing over $3 US. And I was like, because if I had local currency, I just would have been like, here, dude, like, let's just, don't worry about it. Let's just go. That did not happen. Instead, the manager made him back up, and then they held traffic for us to cut across 10 lanes of people trying to get out of the parking lot, and then drive and do a U-turn and drive all the way back to the hotel, which was no longer close at this point. So like this ended up being a whole like 20-minute detour so this guy could go back to the hotel and just get his parking ticket validated. Anyway, long story short, this entire thing could have been avoided if I had just had 60,000 rupees on me, which was $3. $3, and I could have avoided this entire thing. So don't make this mistake in the future. Like, just bring some local currency with you or pick some up as soon as you get to the hotel. Mistake number 4 this year, I have made so many mistakes with my credit cards. So if you watched my videos before, you'll know that I am an Amex Platinum fan, usually put all of my travel, all of my purchases on the Amex Platinum in order to get the rewards points. This year, I spent a lot of time flying on United and staying in Marriott hotels. So if I had gotten the United credit card or the Marriott credit card earlier in the year, I would have maximized my stays so much more efficiently than I did just using the Amex Platinum to pay for them. I flew 28 flights on United, and I stayed at Marriott hotels 36 nights. Just doing the rough math, I missed out on like 40,000 points with Marriott by not putting it on a Marriott Bonvoy credit card. So it sucks to lose out on all of those points, but really the bigger disappointment is that those credit cards come with perks that are specific to that airline or the hotel chain. So if I had had those credit cards, I would have reached platinum status so much faster. I would have had lounge access, other perks that would have made traveling so much easier. So I kick myself for not applying for those credit cards earlier in the year. Now I did end up deciding to apply for the credit cards, but I did it later in the year. First off, I applied like right before I went on a trip, so I didn't have the physical card before I went on the trip. So that was dumb because then I didn't get to use the card on the trip. And also I decided to get both cards like at the same time. Now, when you get these rewards credit cards, the real perk of them is getting the bonus, right? You apply for the card and it's like, you know, spend X amount of dollars in 3 months and you get 60,000 miles or whatever the bonus offer is. Now the United card was like 3 months to spend $2,000. The Bonvoy card was like 3 months to spend $3,000. So what did I do? I applied for them at the same time. So instead of giving myself 3 months to spend $2,000 and hit the United bonus and 3 months to spend $3,000 to hit the Marriott bonus, I gave myself 3 months to spend $5,000 to hit both bonuses. Not financially the best idea. Mistake number 3 was not using my United Mileage Plus number when I booked my Singapore Airlines flight. This one, I just kick myself over. So I knew that United and Singapore Airlines were partner airlines, and so your status on United transfers over to Singapore. Great. I did not know that I could use my United Mileage Plus membership number and put that into my Singapore Airlines booking and get miles and credit with United. Didn't know that. So instead, I created a Singapore Airlines, whatever, KrisFlyer, I think is what they call it, KrisFlyer account. And so I got points for KrisFlyer, but not on United. And you can't retroactively change it. Trust me, I tried. So I don't know, if you're gonna go book an airline, just double check what their partnership programs are and if you can get credit for the airline that you prefer to fly. That one was dumb. Mistake number 2, also part of that trip. Boy, I made a lot of mistakes on that trip. And that was not checking the award space on the flight before I purchased my ticket. So my Singapore Airlines ticket to fly to Bali was like $1,700. When I booked it, I thought, oh, I'll buy the economy ticket. I'll make sure that I buy the class of ticket that I can then upgrade later on to business class, and I'll upgrade it with points because again, I had all these Amex Platinum points. I bought the economy ticket, the tier that would allow me to upgrade, and then I went to go upgrade it and there was no award space available. So I couldn't. There were no upgrades available for purchase, which killed me. So hundreds of thousands of Amex Platinum points and I couldn't use them. So that was a hard lesson learned. Always check to make sure that there's award space available before you book your ticket. And for my number 1 travel mistake I made this year, it's time for a story. Okay, y'all, so I have always wanted to go to Montana. So I was at my annual trip up to North Idaho, up in the Idaho Panhandle, and I decided to tack on an extra 3 days, drive out to Glacier National Park, stay at an under canvas property there, and just have myself a little solo adventure. Now, I'm a Southern California girl, okay? I can deal with rattlesnakes, mountain lions, coyotes, black widows, all fine. But Montana has bears. And I don't know how to deal with a bear. And here I am thinking I'm gonna go solo hike through a national park. What if I run into a bear? So I'm doing all this research about bear spray, right? I'm gonna have to buy bear spray. I'm very anxious about buying this bear spray. Where do I go to buy the bear spray? How do I carry the bear spray? What do I actually do if I run into a bear? How do I work the bear spray? And a friend of mine was like, oh, you should go to the airport and see if they have bear spray there, if anybody left it. I was like, why would people, what? And she's like, you can't fly with it. And I was like, okay, but is it worth trying to get free bear spray? And she's like, yeah, bear spray's $70. I'm sorry, what? Bear spray's $70? So my friend says to me, why don't you sign up for a group hike? They have group hikes that go into the park. They'll have the vehicle pass that you need to get down the road, and they will have bear spray. And you don't have to worry about the bear spray. And I was like, this is a great idea. I'm going to sign up for a hike. So I find this company that has a partnership with the national park. I buy a ticket to do their group hike on a Tuesday. It was $165. So I wasn't saving money, but I figured it was probably the safer option because at this point now, they're gonna have the bear spray. I'm gonna be out there and not alone. They're providing lunch and they know what they're doing. So $165 seems like, a good deal at this point. So now I have a plan. I drive out to Glacier National Park. I stay at the under canvas. The first day I have this fabulous day in Whitefish, Montana. I spend the day just kind of walking around, shopping, little cafes, so cute, fell in love with Whitefish. Okay, so the next day, I needed to be at the guide office at 7 in the morning. They were departing at 7:30. So I set my alarm for 5, and I woke up right on time, no problem. Got up, had some lovely coffee, went to the restroom trailer, was just having a nice leisurely morning. And then I came back to my tent, and I saw I had a missed call. So I'm starting to get ready. I notice I have now a voicemail from that same number. So I pick up and the voicemail's hello, this is so-and-so from the guides. We're just wondering if you're going to be joining us this morning. We will be departing the office at 7:30. So just wanted to see if you were going to make it. I'm looking at my phone, it's 6:30 in the morning. And I'm why is she worried? And then I realized we changed time zones. I changed time zones. And my phone was set to manual, so my phone didn't change time zones, but I did. Oh, that was the dumbest thing I did all year. And this poor woman, like, I call her back and I was like, I'm so sorry, and explain what happened. And she was like, well, they just left. So you might try to catch them, but I don't know if you're gonna catch them. And I was like, oh, I'll do my best. Like, what trailhead? So I'm like throwing things in my backpack, like running out to my car. At this point, like, all fear of being the solo, like, hiker has gone completely out my head as I'm trying to figure out, like, how am I going to catch up with this group tour that I paid $165 to go to, and I'm an hour late. So I drive to the national park. There's a line to get into the national park, and I'm like, so I finally get in. Like, I didn't have the right pass, but thankfully she let me in. It was so dumb. It was so dumb. I get into the parking lot, I like park, and my plan was to take the shuttle, there's a shuttle service, out to the trailhead to meet up with them. That was not happening. That plan was right out the window. As soon as I got in the shuttle line and I realized the shuttle only comes every 20 minutes, I was like, I'm screwed. Like, this, I need to just let this, like, group hike thing go because I'm not catching them. Now, in a silver lining, I end up standing in this shuttle line and I'm chatting with these two cutie patootie girls who are standing behind me, and I'm telling them my whole story and, like, how nervous I am about this bear spray situation. And they're like, oh, well, we have bear spray. Like, we got you covered. And I ended up hiking with these two adorable girls and, like, had a great time and made new friends and took amazing photos and, like, experienced Glacier National Park and absolutely fell in love with it. So I absolutely believe that everything happens for a reason. There's some sort of fate, universe, creator, whatever you want to call it, that's absolutely at work here. But at the same time, I learned a valuable lesson: to put my damn phone on automatic time zones. So anyways, those are the 5 worst mistakes I made this year. I hope you found that helpful or at least entertaining. And if you enjoyed this video, maybe give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, go create a life you love. Bye!